Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RedFlex. This is a very rare occasion, so please mark this in your diaries. Manchester United played well. This is unbelievable. It was, to be honest, I just got so used to the drab football. I didn't know what it was like. Like yesterday, to digress slightly, yesterday I was watching the El Clasico. Yeah. And what a wonderful end to end game that was. Like, obviously I didn't really care who won, but the fact that it was end to end, both teams were creating chances, it was, as a neutral, it was exciting to watch. This is what I want Manchester United to be. But unfortunately, they haven't been. And even in the first half, I didn't know which team Mourinho was managing because I was like, this is equally as poor on both sides. But yeah, Man United 3, Tottenham 1. Jugs only comes in for the big games. We only got the budget to afford him for the big games. So we've been saving up our pennies, and he's here now. How's it going? You all right?
Yeah, all good, man. Good to be back. Good to be back.
How do you feel about the game today? Let's break it down. I'll walk you through the game. The starting lineup. Were you happy with the starting lineup? Let's start there.
Um, Not entirely, because I still don't rate, obviously, Scott McTominay and Fred.
The
We all know the
McFred
problems.
pivot. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to. We all know the problems, right? Don't want to sound like a broken record. Both of them can't pass. That's a huge problem. With Pogba playing, we got to get him in the team. He's one of the world's best footballers. He's one of the world's best centre midfielders, and then we stick him out in the wing. Now, obviously, today we've gotten away with it. He's been awesome. But still, I think just in
Are
terms
you
of that
okay with
progression,
the let's just squeeze Pogba in wherever we can, just so he's on the pitch? I don't want to play him. I don't know whether it's Ollie saying I don't really trust you enough to play you in the pivot because I don't think you're defensively switched on enough. But I'm just gonna throw you out wide like you do with like a young 17-year-old who's making his debut. Let's just throw him on the wing because even if he messes up, he's not going to mess up that much. He's on the wing, isn't it? So you kind of let's get Pogba in the game. Were you all right with him being on the pitch, though? I'm assuming you're all right with Pogba
oh,
being on the
I want
pitch.
him on the pitch. He's one of the world's best footballers. So at the end of the day, today we've gotten away with it. It's worked. He was awesome. Man of the match contender. We've gotten away with it. But in terms of this talk about progression, we can't get anywhere with that central midfield. And we saw the problems in the first half. It was just becoming like deja vu, wasn't it?
It
So
was, it was. So other than to be fair, we didn't really have that many other options. We could have gone with Mason Greenwood. I know what you mean in terms of we didn't have to do what we did, but yeah, it is. It is. So the game started. We had, it was not really much going on for the first half an hour. Let's be honest. It was like a bit of Mourinho football one side and a bit of Mourinho football from the other side. It was just kind of handbags, and then we had the first flashpoint of the game where Scott McTominay assaults Son Heung-min, absolutely
brutal.
assaulted him. Had he done that on the street, he'd be locked up for many, many years. You know, the key would have been thrown away. Maximum
Definitely.
security, he would have had a big problem. So, talk me through the incident? How did you see it?
Well, a pinky to the finger can be quite painful, I guess. A
Yeah,
pinky
just a
finger to
little
the
flick
face.
there, just a little flick
Yeah, I
there.
mean, I
It was
mean, you
probably
could
the
take it back.
acupuncture point. Like there's certain points of your body, you press them and your body switches off. It might have accidentally hit one of them. You don't know.
The way he fell, it looked like it, but
Did you see the
oh,
post match, the Solskjaer post match? He
no,
mentioned it as
no.
well. He was like, if my son had fell down, if someone had flicked his face like that, and 10 of his friends had to come around, and he'd be getting no dinner tonight. it was
Uh,
it was funny, but anyway, yeah. So clearly, it wasn't anything.
no, it
No.
was not. I mean, Son was pulling him back slightly as well. I mean, it was just a normal body to body. His arms are out in
Yeah,
front.
50-50,
Not
yeah.
just on. Take it easy. My eyes are not on the.
Yeah.
His eyes were on the ball. Obviously, he didn't really
Yeah.
know. It's pushing back. It's yeah. The crazy thing is that the referee saw it, was told to watch the VAR, and even from that, he still decided that this is a foul. I think that's the crazy part about it. Um, I don't know. This is the game now, isn't it?
that's a whole other debate about VAR and things like that. But I'll just get to a couple of the comments. SYG says maybe they need to be hard done by every game. Surely the record to remain unbeaten away from home is on. Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad performance. I think it was one of the better 45 minutes of football I've seen, and we'll obviously get into that more detail. It was one of the better halves of football I've seen. Jose was disappointed with Ole's comments. Big beef, good bants. Yeah, I liked the comments. Mourinho, I think he was asked about Son falling down, and he quickly deflected it by saying, "What about? Let's talk about Pogba's elbow when he should have been red carded." He absolutely hates Pogba, doesn't he? He absolutely hates him with passion.
The thing is, this game as well. This history between obviously Mourinho, the Man United thing, and it just felt like a derby. Like especially after that incident, the whole feel to the match just changed. There was extra needle. There was obviously needle before going into it, but there was just an extra firecracker up the arse.
Yeah, it had to be, I think, because obviously we got slapped up 6-1, and then obviously, we got a goal disallowed, and they scored 5 minutes after, which is obviously the next part we're getting onto. The goal, some people I've heard, saying that it was a mistake by Lindelof. Now, where do you stand on the first goal?
I still don't understand AWB tucking in so much. Like it's just impossible. I think AWB is a fantastic defender 1-on-1, but his awareness is something to be desired. I think there's a huge question.
In that build-up, wasn't that down our left?
It was a crossing from the down our left, and then the ball came into
the end. Yeah, the end finish. Yeah, was Son was free. Yeah, no, I agree with that bit. Yeah,
I think it's moving across maybe too much. I'm not sure, but we've seen this quite a few times where the back post is free over and over again. And obviously the question just has to be asked: is it personnel or tactics? I have no idea. I think it has to be personal now because AWB is playing every single game.
The thing is, if it's not tactics, then you should see Ole screaming or dropping him. Really, should be really. If it's not part of his tactics, it must be. But yeah, I'm getting used to seeing teams counter-attack us down the left wing, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka being the last person to come into frame. So you see the pitch, you see everyone running back, and he's the last person to run in to the left, to their left channel to back everyone up. So yeah, that is a problem. But I think Lindelof missing his kick for me was not great. To be honest, I didn't see many replays of it, so I don't know how close he was to the ball. But it looked like he should have cleared it, as far as I could see. It looked like he should have had that one. But so obviously Tottenham have scored. Our goal has been disallowed. We're, like you said, we're up for it now because now we're been wronged now. Halftime team talk must have gone down Fergie style, and then we saw something we've not seen. Like I'm trying to think of a time or the last time in a match where we played like that. And I've got a funny feeling it may have been Leipzig. It may have been Leipzig when we won 5-0, which was way back in December. Is the last time I saw us play in a way where we had multiple touches in the box, which we rarely have multiple touches in the box. Shots on goal, loads of shots on goal. Did you see a tactical tweak? Did you see anything different, or was it just pure desire?
I think it was Ollie telling them, obviously, we're 1-0 down, obviously, which is blatant. It's a bit more of a gung-ho approach. I think a good example of this is Bruno in the past few weeks. He's been slightly quiet. So they've told him, they've gone to his ear, play less risky football, play less risky passes. When the second half today, you can see that everyone was popping the ball. There's a bit more freedom. There was a bit of pressure lifted just because they can go for that gung-ho approach. And this is kind of what we've seen all year. We start off slow from the blocks. We're 1-0 down, and then all of a sudden, the pressure just lifts. And maybe the first tactics of keep it tight, lads, please keep it tight, that goes out the window. And now it's time to express yourselves, and maybe the players enjoy that more. So going forward, 1-0 down is not going to be a tactic. It's not going to be something we can sustain. Maybe we can take that gung ho approach a bit more from the start.
Yeah, we need to kind of work out what are we doing when we go 1-0 down that makes us play better football. Like, I agree, more riskier passes, yes, I agree with that. But I think it's more the speed of play in general. Even if you're passing it side to side, but you're passing it quickly side to side, you're making the other team's midfield and defense move, and then you're creating space. I think that's more of what happens mentally to the team, where we're just snappier. Because
Yeah, yeah,
Bruno gets criticized all the time. He gets criticized all the time for trying to go for the through ball or go for the direct ball all the time. He gets that anyway. So that's nothing new. Whether we win, lose, or draw, he does that anyway. But I think there is a definite slight change in just the speed of passing, which when we're on song, we were in some of the goals today. It's devastating, as you saw. Just that quick little 1-2 around the box.
yeah,
The other teams, they
yeah,
hadn't even got a chance.
yeah.
So the first goal, again, it was the result of this sort of link-up play, interplay. Walk us through that goal.
Well, funnily enough, Fred, the man that I've said that can't pass the ball, actually was involved in this really heavily. It was just a nice little 1, 2, 3 to Cavani. Obviously, Cavani missed the shot, and then Fred was there in the box where he should be nowhere near.
I think he was
So
trying
he's
his best to miss, because he went literally into the roof of the net. He was trying his best.
yeah, exactly. Or maybe he's just not leaving it to chance.
Yeah, he was
Let's
giving
give
it a
him some
good one. Yeah,
credit.
so that was wonderful. I think I agree with you, because I saw Fred in positions that I've never seen him for as a Man United player, like regularly getting into the box, like inside left. He was there loads, and I was like, wow, what's going on? Like either something's wrong with him today, or this is an actual tactic. So again, I mean, do we say it was tactical masterclass from Ole? He gets a lot of criticism a lot of the time, but is it today one of those days where we got to say, you know what, Ole, you did the business there? Have we got to take our hats off to him, or what?
It's a tricky one. I mean, when he obviously managers are always going to get the blame for when we lose, and when we win, they should get every praise. And definitely, Ollie today stepped up. The team was under pressure. Half time, his talks obviously made a huge difference. It's 100%. He should be given the appraisal today. But what
Yeah,
in the long run, we haven't seen anything new. This is a trend that going in at half time, we've kind of sucked in the first half,
yeah,
and then he's given them a bollocking 100%,
yeah,
and all of a sudden the whole team just changes. The next phase is how do we start like that, and this is where we'll
yeah,
hopefully next year we can see, and Ollie will definitely his stocks will rise if we can do this
yeah.
performance consistently.
Now I've got to give
So
him a little bit of credit today, because, like I said, I saw certain players getting into positions they normally don't. So I definitely think there was a tactical tweak. Fred and McTominay were taking turns of getting far into the box, and I think because Tottenham recently, they're defensively, they're a bit all over the place. So once they saw an overload that they probably weren't expecting, it kind of panicked them, especially as we
yeah,
wanted to play this sort of intricate football outside the box. So we had that one, and then we had classic Premier League, bread and butter that we've been watching, from a long time. Cross coming in,
exactly.
the classic number 9 just diving in at the end of it, made himself, that was just one from the books. That's one from the textbook, that was. And that was our man Eddie, on form. I know he's modeled himself on you with his hairstyle and his beard and that. I know he's a big fan of yours. So I know he's I
Exactly.
know he's trying to be you, but yeah, what do you think of his performance today?
I thought today he was pretty much a leader. You know, he led the team. First of all, he took care of the ball, which normally our number 9 struggled recently. Obviously, they don't get the service, from creativity was struggling. But he was a leader. He was taking care of the ball. He was pocketing off. His movement again, second to none. Awesome movement. Today he did all the stories that his mind's made up. He wants to go into a beach in Argentina or whatnot. Today he just, to be honest, put those to bed. His attitude's still like a leader, and that's what I said. To be honest, very, very important for us. The experience
No,
there.
I enjoyed his performance today. His link-up play, I think his link-up play's always been good. I think the only time he struggled really is when he's not been fully fit. He's played sometimes when he's not been fully fit, and you can tell because he just hasn't got that sharpness. He likes to come deep, lays it off, makes the run, but this sort of classic header between two defenders, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
A bit of nostalgia there. We've seen that over the years, and I really really liked that play that we had. Finally, the last goal. Again, we at this point I think we were dominating the whole half, and then Pogba decides to. Well, first we were in the corner, just trying to kill the game off, let's say, professionally. But then all of a sudden, Pogba was like started spamming his controller, and then all sorts of skills started popping out. I don't know where that came from. So, what did you think of that goal?
Maybe all those criticisms from the Mourinho days just came, flashing by, and he's like, "Listen, I'm going to show them now." He showed his strength, pushed whoever was on him, easy peasy.
Not with his finger in the eye, at least. Thankfully,
not with the
thankfully,
finger,
thankfully.
Safety first.
Yeah.
Listen, that's quality. Look, we want Pogba to do those type of things. If you take away the skill and everything, you don't really, that is Paul Pogba. He's got the skill. He can perform it. I'd rather him do that in the right moment. And that was the right moment because it was deep into their half. The space was there. Great decision. And 3-1 obviously sounds much better than 2-1. So absolutely, nailed on.
Playing devil's advocate a little bit. The reason Pogba was in that position, in the sort of free number 10, so to speak, is because Bruno Fernandes was not on the pitch. Is there a case for Pogba, if he's going to do stuff like that, to play in that position, and for maybe Bruno Fernandes to be punted over to the right and, make his roaming runs inwards? Because to be fair, the last few times, like I've got to be clear here, I'm not been the biggest fan of Pogba purely for his off the field stuff, and when I mean off the field, not his personal stuff, Mino Raiola stuff. I still really upset about the comments coming out the day, the day of the Leipzig game. I still haven't really fully forgiven him for that. But anyway, that's this is the Paul Pogba, and every time he's done well, it's because he's been pushed upfield. Every time he's had a big influence on a game with a piece of skill like that, or amazing volley or an amazing crosses, when we're literally desperate and we're like, right, Pogba, go all the way up and let's see what you can do.
Yeah. I don't see why they both can't play together, and in the game they can change or
manage it themselves. Yeah,
they can manage it, and I'll even add Donny into that as well. I don't see any reason why those three can't play in the same team, because they can interchange the positions. They're technically gifted. Technically gifted players can play with each other, and they don't mind popping the ball off wherever they are, whether it's left, centre, or right. It just works.
True. I agree with that. I would like to see that happen. I think going forward, one solid DM would solve that issue for us, 100%. I think one solid DM, those two taking turns and possibly pushing forward while one stays deep, is the way forward. And I think that's the only way that this Man United side can evolve, because as much as Bruno has his quality, where he's very direct, he's very aggressive when it comes to through balls and chipping it in, it doesn't always work. Let's be honest, it doesn't always work. Pogba has a slightly different approach. He's more physical. He's a direct runner. Like today, he just shrugged off two people, laid it off, and then Mason Greenwood, which you've not even started talking about yet, scared the defender to death because the defender had no idea which way he was going. So, what did you think of that goal?
Well, to be honest, he's had a bit of a quiet season. He's lifted it for the past few months. That's past month definitely, and it's just classic. It's a nightmare to defend against. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to put him on his right? Am I supposed to put him on his left? It seems like he's good at finishing with both. So
and I think had I been a defender there, I would have probably put him on his right, thinking, "Oh, you ain't gonna beat my goalie near post."
Exactly.
But little did we know.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's. You look at the. It's promising. I'm really happy that he's. Past month definitely. He's
Yeah.
absolutely stepped up.
And
He's been
let's
wonderful.
not forget it was his cross. It was his cross that
Exactly.
led to the goal. Yeah, let's
I
not
was
forget
going to say,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You talking about nostalgia. The other wingers that we have can't produce a ball like that. Rashford cannot produce a ball like that. Daniel James obviously definitely can't produce a ball like that. But Mason, he's got the technical
He
ability
does
and
it
the vision
regularly,
to do it.
yeah. He does
You
it
know,
regularly,
he's got
yeah.
the
I give
vision
him
to
that.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got it. And this guy's a generational talent that we've got. It's time to get excited about him. So I'm
Yeah.
just really happy that he's
The
stepped up.
best thing for me today was just seeing the smile on his face after he scored that
Mhm.
goal. Like, even he was impressed with himself. And that's nice. It's nice to see, isn't it? No, don't get me wrong. It's
Yeah,
nice to see. It's all right. Like, yeah, or curled it into the top corner and like, all right, yeah, whatever. But even he
yeah,
was excited and even he was happy and celebrating. That's what I like the most, and that because that shows me, it gives me an insight into him on a personal level. Like, maybe he has got over a lot of personal issues he had towards the
yeah,
beginning of the season and all of the press on his back because of what happened out in Iceland. Obviously it's going to affect him, but you're
yeah,
right. In the past month, especially in the last few games, his contribution has been excellent. And if we
exactly.
can, and I think the fact that there's pressure on his shoulders now because look, Martial's out. It's like, look, Mason, it's you and Eddie. It's time to step it up now because
Yeah,
the goals, we need goals now. We need to go further in this competition. Yes, we may say that the Premier League, I say the top four is pretty much sewn up. I'll stick my neck out and say the top four's there, but I think we're getting very close to the second place being secure as well. We're
yeah.
second
Well,
now.
Jesse's helped us, hasn't he, today?
Obviously, Jesse's done the business, but he's just on a different level at the moment. To be fair,
Exactly.
but
Really happy for him, by the way.
yeah, of
Really happy
course,
for him.
100%.
Really happy.
Whether he comes back to United or not, I will still always want the best for Jesse. He's one of our own. He's
Exactly.
been at the club for forever. So yeah, to see
Yeah.
him do well, no qualms about it at all. But going forward now, you know, like I was alluding to, the top four is pretty much secure.
Yeah.
Do you now go all guns blazing for this Europa League?
It's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, I would still want second place. I think that second place
This
tag
is the
is
question I'm
still
going to ask you is what I've asked everyone else. Is second place no trophy or fourth place in the Europa League?
oh, I think fourth place in the Europa League. I
Yeah.
think
This is what
silverware has to be there.
this is where it goes. So I think you've answered your own question there that
Yeah,
we have to go all guns blazing now. We have to. We have to pick our strongest team for Thursday. Obviously, not so much this particular Thursday, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, going forward, if, regardless of who we're playing at the weekend, do you think it's time to kind of like, even if we've got like I don't know if I think we've got Liverpool still, and I think
Yeah, we got
we got Liverpool still. So, for example, semi-final Roma, play. Are you happy to play your best squad and then mix it up for Liverpool at the following weekend?
Yeah, well, a sign of a great manager is you got to work with the squad, and this is obviously a criticism of Oli that I don't want to criticize him right now. Today you got it right, but he doesn't really use the squad. I don't want to keep saying it, but Donny's been underused. Really good technical player. Should have played a lot more minutes. You got to utilize these type of players. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's played every single game pretty much. What
Yeah,
happened? What happened to Brandon Williams? So, like, it wasn't he the breakthrough player last year? Why
yeah,
can't Transabi just do a job for one game at right back?
yeah.
He's another talented player. There's
I
plenty
think he's
more
going to have
examples.
to. He's going to have
Yeah,
to this week on Thursday because Maguire and Shaw not playing, and
yeah.
McTominay. So now we're gonna have to see who he trusts, who he doesn't trust.
Well, this is a good sign of a manager. You have to, you have to fit in the holes and make sure the team still performs, and that's all the great managers do. Pep's doing it at City right now.
Yeah,
It's seamless when he picks like
yeah,
Mahrez or picks Bernardo Silva. It's seamless. It is
yeah.
no difference. The team still plays the same out of the play, and that's what Oli needs to do now as well. He's underused players that are actually quite gifted and probably need a bit of backing, especially the younger ones. And he hasn't quite done that this year. I'm not going to blame him. Obviously, a manager's he's obviously looking after himself and whatnot. We get it. We get the pressures, but a great manager works with the squad, and we have actually got a decent squad, compared to the other
Yeah,
teams.
I do worry about the forward line at the moment because even though it's just one player, like one player down and half of Marcus Rashford,
Mm.
because let's not forget Marcus Rashford is
Yeah,
he's literally he's on one leg. He's on one leg, one shoulder, half a tank of
definitely.
petrol. He's not really with it, but he's doing what he can. So we can almost exclude him from the conversation as well. So literally very light up front, very light.
Yeah,
So let's see how it goes anyway. But overall, let's wrap it up now with your man of the match,
has to be El Matador, doesn't it? Has to be.
El Matador. Yeah,
Has to be. Right? Although
yeah,
Mason and Pogba have to be. Obviously, I'll say the names, but I think Edison gets it today. Should have had 2 goals. The first one was a brilliant goal as well. Brilliant
yeah.
finish.
2 shots, 2 goals. Pretty much.
Exactly.
Let's just say he was 2 shots, 2 goals. He linked up the play. I would have lent towards Pogba, but I didn't like the fact that when he was literally one on one with the goalkeeper, he tried to do some smart back heel skill. Tried to do what Benzema did yesterday. I don't know if you watched the Classico. He tried to do what Benzema did yesterday. Didn't come off at all.
Yeah,
So I didn't like that. But otherwise, no, 100% Pogba, even for his contribution to the final goal alone, would be up there.
yeah,
But I
definitely.
think overall, yeah, I probably would give it to Eddie. Great, great goal. It literally won us the game. His goal won us the game. It was at that point of the match where we needed that goal. He came up with the goods. So yeah, we'll go with Eddie. We'll wrap it up there. Thanks again for joining. Obviously, you're part of the squad, so we will see you. We'll try and get you in rotation as well, Donny. We'll try and
Yeah.
utilize you more as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us at the RedFlex. We're also very active on Instagram and we are also on Twitter. So if you want to join in the conversation, you can do there. We'll be back each and every match day before and after the game. So we'll see you next time. Thank you.